everybody. Welcome to Ian Bagg Bought a House, show about the Ian Bagg House on the eastern shore of Virginia, and I am renovating that house while my mother-in-law lives in it, and me and my wife use it as a vacation home in her hometown that she grew up in. Today on the show, we've got Corey Hirsch, who is a homeowner previous, now lives in hotels all around America and Canada. This week, I was in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's how my weekend ended. I was at Las Vegas at the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club, where we started the first After Dark with Ian Bagg, and it was fantastic. We had a great old time. We went out for dinner early. Some of the people I was with got a little hammered, and then we went and did the show, 10 p.m. We had 160 people out of a 270-seat room, so it was packed, kind of, half-packed. But we only advertised for a couple weeks beforehand, so we were happy with the numbers that we got out. Good time. Brant Tobler opened up for me. Renee and Chris, how was your weekend?
It was pretty good. My kids are sick, so that was fun.
Oh, it sounds like you might have the flu as well, by the sounds of it, the way you're trying to.
I have a little scratch.
Oh, it sounded like you were trying to keep everything calm and not have everything blow out your butthole.
Well, that happens regardless if I'm sick or not.
Yep. Renee's a shitter. Chris, do you do any shows?
Yes, I did a show for the American Legion for the troops with Dean Del Rey.
Oh, that sounds fun. Sounds a lot of fun. Sorry, good for you. I wasn't mocking any of that. It was for old Legionnaires disease.
No, you know the American Legion.
Yeah, I know the American Legion, but I haven't been into one in a long time. It used to be just old guys hanging out there, and is it young guys now?
They're still fairly old, but
it's where you can get a pickled egg. If you ever need a pickled egg, that's where you go.
Yeah, they're still pretty old, but they have a lot of money because it was in Newport.
Oh, it was in Newport?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It was the people that funded World War II.
Yeah.
That's who that was. Oh, my God. That is very rich. The most rich Legion I've ever heard of. Oh, my God. I am dealing with a slip disc, so I've been going to physical therapy. I've got two physical therapists, one in Las Vegas and one in Seal Beach, and they are both calling me a pussy. So it is a lot of fun. What else? I got this week coming up. Pasadena, Ice House, Saturday, 8 p.m. I'll have about 4 or 5 guys and gals going on in front of me, and then I'll do an hour, and we'll have a lot of fun. We'll have the mini Pearl shirts. This weekend, we went to the Mob Museum, and my wife was wearing the mini Pearl sweatshirt around her butt cheeks. You know what I mean? When girls wear it like that, you know what I mean? And this lady said, "Oh my God, that's Ian Bagg's dog." And I was standing there, and I'm like, oh my God, somebody just recognized my dog and me, and I thought she was going to say something to me next, and then she walked right by me. She didn't even recognize me. She recognized the dog. Oh, that's Ian Bagg. And then she's like, oh my God, I can't believe they sell sweatshirts now. These sweatshirts are so fantastic. I can't believe it. And then she walked right by me, and I'm like, what the fuck, lady? I'm Ian Bagg. What's that? Turn the microphone this way?
Yeah.
Okay, you can just say that, Renee. We're not that classy of a joint here. We can just interrupt the things. Also, Ian Bagg Bought a House is all about Ian Bagg buying a house. I have Nest. What are the thermometers? I have I have 2 Nest thermometers in my house. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Do you have the doorbell as well?
I do, but they're not connected. But both of them shut down this weekend, so I have to have them replaced. And somebody told me they were shit before, and I'm going to have to agree that a year into having them, I have to replace both of them, and they're both $300 a piece.
Don't they have some warranty?
I don't know. I'm going to get a different type and put it up there. There's apparently a better one than the Nest to put up, so I will be able to tell you guys all about it next week. It's actually happening right now. The heating and, what is it called? Cooling and heating people? HVAC? People are in my house right now, because remember I had the one furnace replaced this summer. It looks like probably having the other furnace and air conditioner replaced next summer. But right now we're having the thermometers replaced. Just want to let everybody know that next week there's going to be a talk about thermometers.
And just you had your Nest doorbell stolen from your house, correct?
No, somebody did though. It was somebody else. Somebody else was online. I haven't. You could steal mine from Long Beach. It's not like tied down. It's battery operated. So you could run with it, and then as you went through different Wi-Fis, I'd see you again. Like as you got out of a Wi-Fi, I'd lose you, and then as you got back into a Wi-Fi, I'd see you.
That's creepy.
Oh, it is creepy. We got a lot of homeless people right now. It's very interesting. Very interesting. And I have to tell a story about it. There's this guy, and he was homeless, and he was looking through a garbage can, and this is how much of a dork I am. And, he looked at, we made eye contact, and I said, "How you doing? You having a good day?" And I was just like, oh, fuck, I can't believe I said that. Just gave him $100 right after that. Here you go. Go do whatever you got to do with it. Just feel like a douche.
Claire DeFrisco says, "Hey, Ian."
Hey, Claire, how are you? Corey's going to be on today. Triangle of people knowing each other, the DeFriscos. Our buddy Vin's sister, Claire, who also I seen her son this weekend, who's just moved back from China. He has a very big thing for Asian women and was living in China for a while. When you love Asian women, I suggest China. Or Japan. Huh.
Is that where they're...
Is that where Asian women are? Yes, China.
What about the Philippines?
The Philippines, they're not Asian so much in the Philippines. They're Filipino. That's different. Filipino girls are way different than Asian girls. Filipino girls, no, they're either really short or really tall. They're not. There's two different types of Filipino girls.
Steph Hellreigel.
Yep.
She commented on the mic covering her face.
Yeah, it's like how I like to. It's how I like to do this show. I like to cover my face half up with a microphone. But thanks, Steph, for wanting to see my face. You beautiful woman. If Steph, correct me if I'm wrong. Steph is our friend that is looking for a kidney for herself. I know everybody just went quiet there. She's looking for a kidney for herself. She needs a kidney transplant. So let's put it out there. If you're I think 01 or something like that, Steph, she'll tell us. If not, she'll say that's not me.
I'll let you know if she responds.
Okay. Thanks very much. I think it's almost time for us to welcome our guest. What do you guys think?
I think so.
Our guest is a Canadian. He's played for the New York Rangers. He's played for the Dallas Stars. He's played for the Vancouver Canucks, where I first seen him play. And I still remember walking by him in a grocery store in the West End of Vancouver. He was there at a Safeway, and I was like, "Oh, that's Corey Hirsch." I should have went up and said hi, but I was nervous. I was young. He was in the NHL. He is now on Sportsnet Radio out of Vancouver, where he judges the Vancouver Canucks every night they play. Please welcome to the show, Corey Hirsch. Hello,
Ian.
Corey.
Hello.
How are you, bud?
Look how the tables have turned.
I know.
Look who's the star now.
Who's the star? My dog. That's who the star is. People recognizing her, not me. Oh, my God.
If I passed you in a Safeway, I'd probably be the nervous one now.
Oh, as you should be.
Hey, there's Ian Bagg.
I'd say, "Hey, Corey, we're friends. Don't be nervous."
Master of NHL roasts.
That's what I am. You know who's in Las Vegas and I just missed was Jim Ralph, who got me into those.
Ralphie was there.
Yeah.
Another very funny man.
He's very funny, but sadly we don't know what he's going to do because he does impressions of Don Cherry. So now we don't know what he's going to have to do.
No, maybe they should make a show with him as Don Cherry, and he'd say politically correct things instead of what Don.
It's funny. I don't know how to take it. How do you take it all? Do you just go, it was time, right?
Yeah. I've tried to stay out of it mostly, but and I know Don personally. Right. He's always been very good to me. But he's an 85-year-old man.
Right.
And I mean, that's like, I wouldn't put my 85-year-old grandpa on TV in front of millions every Saturday night and say what you want.
Right.
You just wouldn't. So
to me, that's the big thing is they've given him full reign, and then he's used full reign, and then they go, "You can't use full reign." So it's kind of confusing. And I know you work for a company that might be involved in that situation. I feel like it was time to wrap it up for him, but they just wrapped it up in the wrong way.
It's unfortunate that it went that way. It was time to wrap it up about 5 years ago, actually about a while ago.
Right.
But he just, you know what? Don's one of those, those people though that they just think if they just can't move on, they just kind of can't stop doing what they're doing, and he's kind of like that. It's like that. It's like an NHL player or an athlete where you're like, geez, you know what? Probably should have retired a few years ago.
Kovalchuk.
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre.
Right? Like that's kind of the Don Cherry situation.
True. It is, but at the same time, people still were excited to hear what he had to say about things, and they were kind of excited to see the car spin on the ice. That was the problem. Is they were hoping for that spin. So, and then when it spun, they go, that shouldn't have spun.
Yeah. That's exactly it. But apparently, he's starting a podcast.
Oh, good. We'll have him on here. He can talk everything.
Well, you and Don, you're buddies now, aren't you?
We're buddies. Yeah, we hang out.
I saw a picture. He looked ecstatic.
He looked ecstatic and tiny. I was just like, oh my god, that's he's a tiny little old man covered up by his collars. I have no idea how they make him look tall on TV, but it's very impressive. Just so people, it is Ian Bagg bought a house. Have you owned houses before?
I have, yes, years ago, not recently.
Which towns have you owned houses in?
I owned a house in North Scottsdale. I owned a house in Vegas. I owned a house in Calgary. So I've been all over the map a little bit.
You've done okay with houses. Is there anything you can tell the people that you would if your kids were buying a house, what would you give them as a hint on owning a house? Is there something that people should know?
You don't buy in Vancouver because everything's $1 million.
Buy someplace. Scottsdale, that's cheaper.
You know what? You think a bigger house is always going to be this awesome, but my advice would be buy what you need for the size that you need, right? Like we all think the bigger the house, the more you got to take care of, the more you got to fix, the more you got to clean, the more you got to. So that's my thing. I think people go too big on houses, and then it ends up being you're a slave to your house.
Right. So Bigger is Not Better by Corey Hirsch, a book that you can find in your bookstores.
Yeah, that's just my opinion.
I like it. How long did you play in the NHL for?
I played in and out of about 10 years. So most of my years were in Vancouver. I played over 100 games in Vancouver. And then I'm in Dallas, which was my last NHL team that I played with was in Dallas. And that was my last NHL start was with the Dallas Stars in 2003. And I never, ever played well in Edmonton. And I had gotten called up with the Dallas Stars. And they're like, hey, we're going to give you a start. I'm like, great, where is it? In Edmonton.
Now,
so I didn't play very well, and it was my last game.
Is it mentally? Is it? I never play well in Edmonton, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be just shit. Or are you like, okay, this is the time I'm gonna beat it?
Well, at the time, I just wanted to play well. Like I knew that if I didn't play well, it would be my last ever game.
Right.
And so that's a lot of pressure going into it. And then I went in. I'm a goalie, so I went into the corner to get the puck, to play the puck, to pass it to my defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the third period, and the score is tied 2-2. And I went to pass it to him, and I fired it off of his shin pads, and it went to a guy in front of the net, and he put it into the empty net. And I was standing in the corner, and I was like, huh. So that's how it's going to end.
So that's how it's going to end.
We lost 4-3, and you know what? No, that's the way it was. It was meant to be that way. It's okay. A lot of guys don't get a last chance. I got a last chance.
A lot of guys don't get a first chance. I got to be honest with you, Corey.
Yeah.
That is the truth, and it's impressive. At what age were you like, I could play in the NHL?
Probably about 12.
Really?
You start separating yourself from everybody. You're not like I could play in the NHL, but you realize that you're pretty good.
Right.
Yeah. You're just better than everybody else, and that might sound arrogant. I don't mean to sound arrogant. I'm Canadian, right?
Very arrogant.
We're so arrogant, but you just kind of know you're just better than everybody else. Like you start dominating the league. That's why I tell everybody, guys that play in the NHL are like, they're the best growing up. If you're not the best player in your area or whatever,
mm-hmm.
probably going to be tough you can still go on to play college, but it's probably be tough. It gets whittled down, right? And it's tough to play in the NHL. Yeah, it's the best of the best.
Curious, Adi, you're just bringing that up. There's a style in Switzerland now where they don't put any pressure on a kid until about 15 to excel. You may be better, but it's more about fun. So they don't even keep score, and they have this, and they want you to try all sports, and they figure that you're growing into your body until about a certain age, and that's why they don't really put pressure on you, because they feel kids drop out because they aren't the best, but they're not anywhere near where they should be starting to be the best. What do you think about that compared to the American-Canadian style?
Yeah, you know what I think. It's the first I've heard of that, but I don't necessarily hate it. But you know what? That's to do that to kids. I mean, some of the kids that are that much better. I mean, it'd probably be harder on them.
You think it holds them back?
I've lived in Switzerland, and a lot of things it's hard to. They're very old school in the sense that they don't really change their mind much on stuff.
Right.
So they're progressive. The Swiss have had actually a pretty good hockey program. They always give Canadians everything they can handle, but I can't see that ever happening over here.
You don't see that. You don't see that at all, right?
We're just too competitive. So
right.
I guess time will tell.
Also, the American and Canadian system is kind of financially it's lucrative now. Like you see all sorts of yeah. So I don't think American Canadians would step back going, oh, we don't need the kids to take the money away from me. No, I built a bunch of soccer fields for people to pay me to play on. So get them the fuck out there. How did you end up in working on the other side? Because when I first met you, you were in coaching, but now you're in broadcasting. How do you go from that? It's very interesting to me that you were able to make that jump.
I fell into broadcasting bizarrely. Like I was playing, and then I got into goalie coaching. Mm-hmm. So I was goaltending coach in Toronto and St. Louis, and the goaltenders I had in Toronto were a guy named Vesa Toskala, mm-hmm. and then I had Curtis Joseph at the end, who's pretty much an NHL Hall of Famer. But he was like 40 at the time, and I was like 36. So I don't know if you ever coached anybody that had a better career than you and is older. But it'd be like you trying to coach Bill Murray.
Oh, it's good. It's good. What would you ask? Hey, what would you like? Hey, Joseph, what should I tell Toskala?
I was like, what do you want? I just said, what do you want to do today for drills? Right? I mean, he knew what he needed, but he was
40.
But anyway,
you want to go for coffee and have a shit is what he wanted to do.
Yeah. So then, like every coach, you get fired eventually. I got let go from. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I started sending out like silly tweets about hockey. And Sportsnet was their producers, and that were following my Twitter account. They're like, "Hey, can you bring that to TV?" And I was like, "Sure." So next thing I know, I'm on TV, and that awesome. Just parlayed into a radio gig out of Vancouver. So it's been pretty cool. I get to talk hockey for a living. So
what you're saying is I shouldn't be just putting up political tweets. I should actually be saying funny things.
You should probably actually throw some jokes around there every once in a while in your tweets. Where I'm just like, I'm not like, oh, what did Ian say today?
Oh, God. Why is he doing this? Question to back it up. So you're saying every coach gets fired?
Eventually. We all
But when you're in your first coaching job with Toronto, you're not expecting that. How do you deal with that? Like, does it spin you out?
Yeah, no. I think you just do the best you can. You get experience, because you know what? When you do get let go as a coach, usually you'll get picked up somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So they kind of recycle, right?
Right.
Unless you're not a very good coach, or you're
person.
Very well. You get a little bit of both. You get kind of recycled, and that's the one thing about sports I never understood is how someone can get fired and then go to the top of the list as the next hire.
Right.
Right. Like there's guys that are GMs. They totally destroy a team. They get fired, and then they're the next GM. They're the first candidate to get interviewed on the next GM job. I don't get it, how sports works that way.
Especially in hockey, because it's such a small community. You think they'd send you back to junior or something at least to deal with a smaller budget rather than let you be a GM again.
I don't know, but that just boggles my mind on a few things. But did you watch Good Branson fight last night? Did you watch that fight?
Was that the one where he spit in his face?
He spit on him.
What was that about? I seen something on it, and he's just a bad fighter? Is that what it is?
Well, he said that Good Branson sucker punched him, so he spit on him.
Oh yeah, that's how you fight back from a sucker punch. You don't punch somebody back. Who was it? Was it Richie? Or is that what he was?
Hathaway, I think is he playing in Carolina? I don't know who they're playing.
I think they were playing Anaheim is who they were playing.
That's all the rage right now. And then the other thing was we were playing Vancouver was playing Colorado. And I don't know if you saw the guy got hit in the back of the head with a puck and they didn't blow the whistle.
I thought that was bizarre. I thought it was bizarre that there could be 4 referees on the ice and nobody blow the whistle for a man bleeding in the middle of the play.
He was bleeding all over from his head. So I think they should change the rules, but the rules are it's the ref's discretion.
But at the same time, change the rules. But doesn't anybody question the discretion on those refs?
No, I guess not. Apparently not.
To me, it's just like I was blown away that not one of them said, "Okay, we might want to take care of something." It's like a guy with a cell phone watching somebody get run over and then not calling 911 and recording it still. That's what it seemed like to me.
That's exactly what it's like. But could you imagine if they let the refs be interviewed by the media afterwards? Like, what would the questions be like? Like, how did you not see that? How did you not see that?
How do you call a penalty after not seeing that? There was a body in the middle of the ice during the play, and you didn't see that. You definitely didn't see tripping over there. Don't even try. Why don't they let the press interview the referees?
Probably because they're afraid of what would be said. I would think. Could you imagine if they'd be asking about calls and maybe maybe the league doesn't want to go there. But I don't know. I don't think there's any league that lets you allow.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think any league can, right?
Yeah. But wouldn't it be nice? A ref probably wants to defend himself. I mean, you don't think the guy went back in his locker room and was like, should have called that one.
Yeah. Yeah, right? I think there should be maybe it's not every reporter gets to ask them questions, but there should be a group that gets to ask them questions. I think they should be held responsible a little bit as the players are and the coaches and stuff. The questions that they are asked should be asked to the referees.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a story out there. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think it is. I've heard this story before, but there was a GM that didn't like how the ref was officiating the game. Mm-hmm. And so the teams have to the home team has to set up the refs with like towels, bagels, like a nice locker room, right? Right. So he told one of the trainers to go and just leave a bar of soap and one towel for the officials. Take everything out of the room.
Put a bar of soap in a sock and let them know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So, and then I think that GM subsequently got fined for that. But
I think, honestly, I think it shouldn't be the home team deals with it. I think the NHL should be taking care of that locker room, and only because you do have a chance as the home team to make it even better than the other places. So
leave a watch.
Right, yeah. Here's a Rolex. Asian woman. just filled. Oh my God, that would be in the Patriots locker room. That would be just a bunch of masseuses. Is hockey your favorite sport to watch?
Hockey live is a great sport.
Right.
If I can get someone to go to a hockey game live, they're fans for life.
Absolutely.
Hockey's not a great television sport. It moves too fast for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this, I mean, my opinion. So I go to a football game, like to an actual live football game, kind of bored.
Really bored.
Nothing really happens. But football on TV is awesome because I can go, I can talk, I can do stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I can catch the game. I can watch like 10 different games. But hockey's not like that. Hockey live is, I think, in my opinion, is the best sport. And then, baseball playoffs, but that's the only time I watch is playoffs. And your boy, our boy Matt Adams.
Yes.
Won a World Series.
Won a World Series. Baseball is fun to just hang out at. I'm not crazy about the game, but I can sit in the stands and talk with my friends and just, be in the sun and just have a great time, like to me, and clap every once in a while.
I need sunscreen, but I can be in the sun too.
Yes, you're a ginger. You'll explode. You have to go to all night games. Now, I want to bring up one more thing. You wrote an article in The Athletic about Players Tribune. Sorry, but aren't they part of the same company?
No, they're separate.
They do basically the same thing,
but they're the same
yeah.
idea. Yeah.
So you wrote an article in the Players Tribune, and now you have started. You go and you give speeches about mental health in sports, but it crosses over to mental health in life. Tell people how it started and what you do now with it.
Well, when I was playing, I had some pretty severe mental health issues, panic attacks, and Eventually I went and got help, but it was a lot of things that happened before then. That's kind of the Coles notes and the stories in the Players Tribune. You can just Google my name and look up the Players Tribune. But now, for me, I don't understand why mental health information was withheld from me as in high schools and middle schools. I mean, I went to school in the 80s,
right?
But it was a big secret, and and I'll be honest. I mean, I almost killed myself. So, and I know a lot of people that are like that. So, why was I not given simple information about mental health? So what I do now is that, so I go and I speak to youth, and I go and speak to youth groups, hockey teams, even adults, because, our suicide rates for, with men, especially, it's between the ages of 35 and 50 are off the charts. So I'm hoping that by giving youth information today that I didn't get, that, we'll have a generation that knows how to deal with mental health issues, anxiety, depression, panic attacks. And that's kind of my hope, that people don't go through what I had to go through. And I think we all have issues.
Mm-hmm.
And there's preventative measures, and give these kids the information, like if one kid takes their own life, we've failed them. So that's what I, on a more serious note on your show, but that's what I do, and hopefully we can save a few kids along the way.
Nice. And do you have a foundation? Is there a foundation that you're part of?
Yeah. No, I've been working with Cam H a little bit in Canada. I've been working with some other stuff, but I just go and talk on my own right now. So as far as the foundation, I'm looking into doing a few things, but got a book coming out in about a year.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a year to write a book, and then we'll just kind of go from there and see which direction it goes in.
That's great. That's great. I love the fact that you're able to explain to people what's going on, and you tell them it's okay to be able to have those feelings and to deal with them, and if people don't talk about it, then you don't get better. And if you let everybody know, there's nobody out there that hasn't dealt with something at some point. So
there's nothing to be ashamed of, right? I mean, why are we shaming people for when their brains don't function properly?
Right.
The most complex thing we have on our body, but it's okay to have a broken arm, but it's not okay to have something in your brain that's not functioning properly, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. We're not perfect as humans, and there's no shame in it. There's no shame in going and getting help. Like, I want to live the best life I can.
Right.
I encourage people to get help if they need it.
Nice. And you can follow Corey on Twitter. It's just is there a number in it? I can't remember.
At Corey. Yep.
There's no number in it though.
At Corey Hirsch, no, and then Instagram at Corey Hirsch 72.
He shows good pictures. He's always someplace. He's always traveling someplace. His tweets are funny. I enjoy. He's like everybody else. He'll get into a little bit of an argument with people, but it's mostly he
have to stop that. Yes.
No, you don't have to stop. I love it. He talks about mental health. He also talks about the sport, and he calls people out that say stupid things about either of them. So it's good. Whereas if you go to my Twitter, it's just going to be saying Trump is a dick. I love it. Thanks for dropping by and talking really quickly and telling people bigger isn't always better with a house. Only get what you need.
Only in some cases, bigger is better.
That's right. Down near your knee if it hot. Well, I'm not going to say dick, but because nobody's ever said a bigger vagina is better. Anyways. Nobody's ever said that. Thanks, Corey, for dropping by and saying hi. Have a good time in Dallas. Go get your passport because you forgot it on the plane. You deserve that for not flying with the team.
That is, yes.
If he's learned anything, always fly with the team.
Oh, it's a charter, and you get free wine and beer.
Oh my God! Surprise.
And food.
Did they ever put the refs on that? Then refs don't get to fly with you guys.
No, the refs don't get to fly with us. No. Could you imagine?
I was like, well, that'd be crazy to just beat the shit out. Soap in the sock. Bonk, 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 bonk. Do they fly corporate or do they fly?
I think they fly commercial, the refs.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, they get points, though. See, I don't get my points. I get a charter on a plane with free,
I'd do that rather than getting points. I could get rid of my points. Question for you. Do you get points for the hotel?
Yeah, I get my hotel points. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good living right there.
Yeah, the players, they don't get any points for chartering.
No, that's like they need points. Like they need points. They're doing okay. They're doing okay.
I think they can afford it.
Yeah. All right, bud. Have a good day. Thanks for being on the
Thanks.
show. Stay gold, pony boy.
You got it.
That was Corey Hirsch, everybody. Follow him on Twitter. Follow him on Facebook. Follow him on Instagram. And follow the Vancouver Canucks, who I would say this year, Corey is having way more fun at his job, seeing how they're a little bit better this year. They're way more fun to watch. Last year, it was pretty bad. The Vancouver Canucks, how do you say it? Were bad. They sucked balls. But this year, they're doing very well.
Still better than the Kings right now.
They're very bad. They're much better than the Kings. They're much better than the Kings. If you look at the standings, the Canucks are quite up there. I think they're 6th or 7th. Anyways, but the Kings are going to be good again at some point. We've got some friends out there. We're gonna have different. I'm gonna wrap it up in a couple minutes here. It's gonna be different now. We're not gonna go with just contractors or just specific people that own houses. The way the show is gonna work from now on is I'm just gonna ask friends, and we're gonna say, hey, do you own a house? Have you ever owned a house? Tell us not your mentor. What is that? What you were saying? When you have a feeling of you.
Intuition?
No. When you this is what I say about owning a house. What would that be? Your motto. Okay. Let's ask people about their motto about the house, and then we're just gonna ask what they do. We're gonna learn about different people. If you want to still follow us, we'd love that. But it's still called Ian Bagg Bought a House because I still got things going on with my house, and it's all about me having a house. The house is having a door put on this week, and also the finishing of the caps on the columns. So that's pretty exciting. We'll have some pictures up of that for you. Go see me this weekend at the Pasadena Ice House. Next week, I'll be doing a corporate in Canada. And then the week after that, I'll be back in Las Vegas. The week after that, I'll be back in Hermosa Beach, Vegas. And then I'll also be at the Albany Funny Bone for the weekend. The 5th, 6th, I think, is the Friday, Saturday. So that's pretty exciting. I thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you retweet all my promos that I make. We got a promo out there involving the Beatles, and I'm hoping to get a cease and desist at some point. So if you guys keep posting them and reposting them, I will get a cease and desist. Cease and desist. Oh, one more time. Take 2. Cease and desist. Make sure you're good to everybody. Say hi to your parents. Say hi to your siblings. Tell them you love them. We'll see you next time on Ian Bagg Bought a House. Love to all. Bow.